Shalom. Welcome. This is Yahusha's time, a time of discoveries, an end-time series to those who are Hebrews and Gentiles, made one in Yahushua Messiah, to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. It is you who I consider my brothers, my sisters, my family. This is part 2 of the segment entitled Merging Pieces. Unity Comes. Merging Pieces. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. Today is January 1st, 2015, and this is part 2 of Merging Pieces. Yahusha's time, a time of discoveries, my brothers and sisters. A time an awakening nation will emerge structured and begin to be fitly joined together under one banner. This begins part 2. He who is able to discern the life in the words that come from the set apart Spirit of Yahusha Messiah, sent by the Almighty Father Yahuah. He who is able to discern life in all that is set apart will value pieces of set apartness being brought together to make whole what is indeed set apartness in Yahushua Messiah. Let me read, if you will, John 6 chapter verses 1 through 14. It reads as follows. After this, Yahushua went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, that is Lake Kinnereth, and a large crowd was following him, because they saw his signs which he did on those who were sick. And Yahushua went up on a mountain, and there he sat down with his taught ones. And the Passover was near, the festival of Yehudim. Then Yahushua lifted up his eyes, seeing a large crowd coming toward him, said, Philip, where shall we buy bread for them to eat? And he said, trying them. And this he said, trying them, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, said, 200 pieces of silver worth of bread is not sufficient for them, for every one of them to receive a little. One of his taught ones, Andre, the brother of Shimon, Kepha, said to him, Here's a boy who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes, but what are these for so many? And Yahushua said, Make the people sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, and the men numbering about 5,000 sat down. And Yahushua took the loaves, and having given thanks, he distributed them to the taught ones, and the taught ones to those sitting down, and the same with the fish, as much as they wished. And when they were filled, giving thanks, he distributed them to the taught ones to those sitting down, and the same with the fish, as much as they wished. And when they were filled, he said to his taught ones, Gather the broken pieces that are left over, so that none gets wasted. So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with broken pieces of the 5 barley loaves which were left over by those who had eaten. Then the men this is verse 14, I'm in the 6th chapter of John. Then the men, having seen the sign that Yahushua did, said, This is truly the prophet who is coming to the world. My brothers and sisters, if you examine the scriptures, if you look at it closely, a multitude was fed, and even as they ate erratically, frantically, they left crumbs and fragments. They wasted pieces. They neglected pieces. But at the word of Yahushua Messiah, the taught ones picked the fragments and the pieces and had 12 baskets full. Have you ever watched an extremely hungry person eat? Do you believe when a hungry person eats that they tend to eat sometimes as though they were starving? Do you believe people during the time of our Mashyach, our Messiah, were so amazed with watching him perform miracles that they would not take the time to eat, for they were busy following him, the Messiah? I do. Is it possible this was an active crowd, the multitude that was fed? Active and taught, probably arguing, debating, many walking in awe and amazement. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, I am indeed compelled to believe that the people ate the food that was multiplied by the Most High Father through Yahushua Messiah, that they ate it recklessly, that they took for granted every piece of food, and as a result of eating it and attacking it frantically, they left out pieces. They neglected pieces. They left fragments on the ground. They took the food for granted and failed to realize even in the fragments there was still much food wasted, but yet gathered at the word of the Mashyach Yahusha, filling 12 baskets. Consider the following, my brothers and sisters. John 6:12 and 13, when it says, let me reread it. And when they were filled, he said to his taught ones, gather the broken pieces that are left over so that none gets wasted. So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with broken pieces of the 5 barley loaves which were left over by those who had eaten. Clearly those who were fed wasted food. Did they become overexcited? I believe they were. Did those who were fed become too anxious? I am compelled to believe indeed they did. Is it possible they lost focus on the value of food since they left fragments on the ground? Who was able to discern at the word of the Messiah Yahusha, the food that was taken for granted was brought to the attention of his taught ones and gathered, filling 12 baskets, so that none was left behind? I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, in this segment, merging pieces, just as Yahushua Messiah fed the multitude in the days of old, and they ate frantically without regards to the pieces, only to discover their negligence at the word of Messiah, so will we witness actions similar in today's time. The bread of life, the word of the Most High Father, has been eaten, digested, interpreted, broken into pieces, fragmented. Like man was hungry for a set apartness, but they ravaged through his words. They ravaged through his set apart people, scattering us, scattering his word, scattering his actions, his orders into fragments. But I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, though man has attacked, has influenced, has infected the written text, they cannot change the spirit of the Most High. They cannot alter the set apartness, ordered, directed, and alive through us, in us, one towards another, through Yahushua Messiah. The bread of life, his word, his living word, his written word made alive. Many influential entities have presented different versions of scriptures with elements added to break into pieces something that was originally whole. In other words, man have added in many cases and taken away from the original scriptures, causing the readers to only get fragments or pieces of what the original text revealed. As a result of man's actions, or should I be more direct and state the influence of the wicked one, many different religions have sprouted. Among those who claim to pursue set apartness, we will witness division magnified. But to those who indeed are sincere and begin to discern what true set apartness is, we will see the days begin and end with us correctly interpreting a day, how to guard Shabbat, how to guard the new moon, the feast times, and understand the purpose of such. For right now we are divided in dress, interpretation of scriptures, beliefs and practice, interpretation of teachings, ways of teachings. When a day begin, this will come to an end among those who are awakened and who will fulfill the final exodus, my brothers and sisters. For some reason we fail to discern the life in the following passage, because all too often we are too eager to take command of the text versus seek to discover and discern what the Spirit of Yahusha is saying regarding the text, regarding his written words, his living words. It is for these actions that we will witness becoming extremely humbled in the coming days. As I have stated in times past, because we fail to listen and obey to the Spirit of Yahusha, because we fail to discern the Spirit of Yahushua working in us one towards another through his chosen mores, elders, shepherds, prophets, and more. Humbling times must and will come to be. We are able to become poor in many ways, and we will in many ways witness becoming poor, impoverished. We will be brought to humility as we are humbled during these end times, as they become intense. We will witness the ability to more clearly identify what the written and living words are from our Mashyach Yahusha, regardless of who is delivering those words. What is set apart, we will embrace. What is wicked, we will purge from our midst. We will come away from. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. the merging of pieces. We will come to witness fragments, the merging of pieces. We will witness coming together as a result of the living words from Yahushua Messiah. We will witness being stitched together in unity. We will see people coming from many different religious backgrounds who have fragments, who have pieces of set apartness, enough that will be added to their lives to bring them into freedom and liberty from the strongholds of the wicked one, and we will witness being brought together. There will be many converts, my brothers and sisters. Many must come together. Keep in mind, though, the scriptures mention a great multitude, and it also mentioned a remnant. I ask you, in your own opinion, would 1 million, would 2 million people be a great multitude? Could it be defined? Could it define a great multitude? 1 million people, 2 million people? Indeed it could. But when you compare it to 7.2 billion people, it is a mere fraction. It is a remnant. Come to understand what is said in the scriptures to keep them balanced, to keep them whole, my brothers and sisters. Merging pieces. Let us not be too arrogant or puffed up that we cannot see the set apartness in those who come to us. There will be people coming from many different backgrounds. We have witnessed many parts of set apartness fragmented by man, but we will come to know how to discern and interpret scriptures in whole, my brothers and sisters. I will pause here for part 2 of merging pieces. Unity comes, my brothers and sisters. This is Yahushua's time. Stay tuned for part 3 as we continue the multi-part segment entitled Merging Pieces. Shalom, shalom, shalom.